All right, how to fix Stripe from creating a separate contact than the one the payment should be associated with. So this doesn't happen all the time, but when it does happen, it can be quite annoying, right? And so the situation is you have a contact in your CRM. The leads come in, they've opted in, they've booked a call, you've had a conversation with them, so there's conversation history and everything. And then they say they're ready to get started, they're ready to purchase. And so you send them, for instance, like a Stripe link to a Stripe payment, and they go on to pay, but they use a different email address or they use a different phone number. And now all of a sudden, a brand new contact is created in your CRM that for the purchase, but now it's not tied to the original contact where all the contact history, the conversations, the tags, etc. are already in place, right? And so how do you fix that? Part of this came up is I have a client that it's become a fairly big deal for them. The person usually uses a work email address in one instance and a personal email address in the other instance. And it was happening enough that they came to me and said, hey, how do we fix this, right? How do we prevent this from happening? And so that's what I want to share with you here in this video today. By the way, if you are interested in automations, AI, integrations, growing your business through those tools and mechanisms, and you want additional resources and community and everything, I invite you to join the Business Automation Academy. Business Automation Academy, it's a free community, at least free as of right now, free community with, tons of value and awesome people and everything. And the address is businessautomationacademy.com. It'll redirect you right into the community. And hope to see you in there. Links right below here at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so back to the video. Let me share my screen and let's dive in. Okay, so again, this is the situation. You have a initial contact who you have, maybe they've done different things. They've opted in, they've booked a call, and it's tied to this email address, right? But then they actually go to pay, and all of a sudden now they use a different email address, and it's creating this contact. And like I said, especially if maybe they had to go through some step here, like book a call before they could purchase or get into, your program or your product or your service or what have you. Well, now it looks like this person hasn't gone through that process. They just purchased. And then this person's gone through the process, but they didn't purchase. And so not only is it affecting like your CRM and organization, but it may also be affecting your metrics, right? Because this is technically the same person, but your metrics may show it as two separate people. So if in this case specifically, it's one contact and they purchase, this would be like 100% conversion rate. But the way it's set up right now, it looks like there's two contacts and only one purchase, right? And so it's only a 50% conversion to purchase rate. And so again, it's just, it can get into a whole host of things. And so it really is a fairly straightforward solution. And so that's what I want to share with you here. All right, so if we go to Stripe, this is just an old test Stripe account. And let's say we're creating a payment link. So you email them the link, they click, they go into it, and they can purchase it. So the way we do this is we will set up a new payment link. I'll just add this $1 test product that I created. Now, especially in today's day and age, you probably want to collect their address and their phone number, just so, again, if they ever were to argue or, try to do a chargeback or something like that, you can always be like, no, like, you just have more information that you gathered to make your case. And so, but in this test example, I'm just going to go ahead and uncheck these. And so here we've got our test payment. Now, initially I was trying to set it up with custom fields. Unfortunately, you can't pass custom fields. There's some instances where those actually do not work in this case. So I'll show you that it's actually much simpler than that, but it's a little hidden. And so you probably are not aware of this. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and create this link. All right, and so now we have the URL link. Usually what people will do is you'll just copy it, you'll shoot it over to the person and be like, hey, here's the link to get started. Here's the link to purchase, right? Right next to the link, there's this little thing, URL parameters, okay? And so email, if we just put in like a test email, it's now giving us the URL parameter to pre-fill the email field, okay? And so anything after the question mark, basically it's a way you can pass information via the URL. And so now there is a field, the email field, it's actually pre-filled email. And so we can pre-fill it. Just makes it easier on the contact, right? But here's what's interesting. If we go to add another parameter, and down here at the bottom, there's this client reference ID. It's a way to pass internal information that we can then reference it in the URL here. And so what I'm gonna do is do copy. I'm gonna hop over into Fulcrum Pro, which is our all-in-one marketing, sales, CRM system. Basically runs our entire business, handles automations, CRM, organization, texting, Google business, like everything. It's really awesome. And then, so this is a dummy account, but we even have our AI is also connected directly in here. So if you want the most advanced AI, either for like live chat widgets or to answer calls or make outbound calls, it's all integrated here into Fulcrum. Okay, so we have the payment link URL. So what I would probably do at this point is you can make it like a trigger link, or just save it as a custom value, or some way so that you don't have to come back and put it in every single time. Now, every CRM is a little bit different. In Fulcrum here, we're going to pre-fill it with contact.email, close brackets, and then the reference ID is going to be equal to contact.id. Okay, so now what it's saying is when the person clicks the email, it will pre-fill in the payment link with their email taken from the CRM and the contact ID. So this is a unique identifier, and I'll show you here, that even if the email address or phone number changes, it keeps it tied to that initial person. So if I click on the contact up here, you can see contacts, details. So this is going to be the unique contact ID, the unique identifier for that specific contact. And so now we create that trigger link. And so, payment link, here's the link to get started. And this will be email is contact.email, and then this will be contact.id. All right, and so when they click it, I'll just show you here. So now let's just put it in a new window, and it'll pre-fill in these fields. So for instance, we'll say this one's Michael at techdialpros.com, and we'll say the client reference ID is actually here. We can take it directly from here. Okay, and so it's going to pre-fill in the email. Now you don't see client ID as a field on here. It's behind the scenes. But now, even if I were to change this email to say Michael at michaelkittinger.com, and I go through and I pay, repeating 4 2s is the Stripe test Visa card, and then any future date, any CVC, test holder, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so now when I pay, even though the email is different, it is tying it to this contact. So we can go into Zapier if that's what you're using to connect your different softwares or Stripe or what have you. Now, you can always do payments, invoices, payment links directly from here, and obviously that would automatically connect it. But this is if you're using Stripe, a separate third party like Stripe Payment Link. So now here we've got the checkout session. We'll continue. And if we look up, so here, client reference ID. Now on this one, it's empty. This was a one I tested earlier, whatever, or just test data actually. But if it were a real purchase, then this client reference ID would be this contact ID that I showed you, okay? And so now what we can do is we can come into this next step and we can go to here and we could say, add update contact, select your account. and then we can go through and add the fields. But again, that unique client reference ID is how you can pass whatever your contact ID is in your CRM that makes it, that specifies that contact. If your system looks at like emails for unique identifier, you can use that contact ID, pass that in the URL parameter here, and now when they pay, even if they use a different email, what have you, it keeps it tied to that contact. All right, so now you're no longer getting multiple contacts just if they use a different email address or phone number. All right, so that is how you do it. If you have any questions, let me know. And like I said, if you want more resources, training, videos, all that fun stuff on tech and automation, AI, integrations, how to grow your business on autopilot, be sure to join the Business Automation Academy. It's right below here, businessautomationacademy.com. It'll redirect you to the free group, and you can just request to join there. All right, let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video.